Today's deck profile discussion is something that I did not personally create in my research. Instead, with so many deck profiles making their way out of the woodwork, some decks utilize no elements of BT22 Cyber Eden. In the East, a new deck called Gas has been making its rounds through the region, though with limited events at this time it hasn't made much of an appearance in the West. Gas, or Garurumon Alter S, utilizes only cards up to EX9 and takes advantage of several older cards. You may have noticed spikes in prices in cards like BT15 Gabumon, EX1 metalgarurumon, and of course EX9 Omnimon Alter S. Funny enough, all three of these cards came from sets that had lackluster openings, meaning demand right now is driving up the prices of these cards. To that end, this video looks into the specifics of some of the key pieces, along with general combos of the deck, the usual deck profile, and countermeasures that you'll want to be aware of. Going backwards from the more recent sets, this deck again utilizes nothing from BT22 Cyber Eden. Instead, the starting point of this deck is EX9 with weregarurumon Sagittarius mode. For a refresher, this Digimon has an on-play and when digivolving effect that stuns one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers from suspending. Your turn, when any of your Digimon or Tamers with Greymon or Matt Easton in their names are played, or any of your Digimon digivolve into a Digimon with Greymon in its name, this Digimon may digivolve into a Garurumon named Digimon in the hand without paying the cost. The inheritable is simply a when attacking, once per turn effect in which you digivolve one on one of your opponent's Digimon. This is one of the cornerstone cards that is necessary for the entire combo to go off, because not only does this card run the weregarurumon Sagittarius mode, but it also runs the Blitz Greymon Ace. Blitz Greymon Ace is your new variant of Greymon that is a Blast Divo Digimon that has Alliance and Blocker. On play, and when digivolving, you digivolve 3 on one of your opponent's Digimon. And also end of your turn, 2 of your Digimon may DNA digivolve into Omnimon Alter S in the hand, then one of your Digimon may attack. There's a few reasons why this card is so great in this build, but its main reason is that because you can slam down this card on board for 7, you can digivolve your weregarurumon Sagittarius mode to the next level without paying cost, then with the end of turn effect, DNA into Omnimon Alter S. And considering Blitz Greymon also offers an end of attack effect, there's a few more issues that streamline the deck into a powerhouse when you go into that Omnimon. Because as you're aware, Omnimon Alter S when DNA digivolving makes itself completely immune to all card effects for the turn it's gone into. And since Blitz Greymon lets you attack, you'll deal 2 security damage with that Blitz Greymon Ace's inheritable before having an end of attack that lets you start the process over potentially again. The question is, what level 6 Garurumon Digimon ties this all together? You may have seen many Facebook groups discuss EX1 metalgarurumon in recent weeks, and this deck was featured in Asia's final with some early news broken to viewers by East. If you haven't checked out fellow content creator East's meta reports, check it out in this video's description. Surprisingly, this card has skyrocketed in value from its sub $1 value to $8 in recent times, with the alt art going for even more. This card when digivolving gains you 1 memory for every 4 cards in your hand. You could say that it's a reverse Mirage Galgamon that doesn't punish your opponent on all turns, but helps you instead. It also has a when attacking effect that when attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in hand, and a Tamer in play, you return one of your opponent's Digimon with an on-deletion effect to the bottom of its owner's deck. While you could use this against certain matchups, the important thing here is that memory gain. Because for this specific combo, your entire goal is to wait in the back and draw all the pieces you need, setting up the memory boosts, trainings, and tamers before going for game. Promoting up a weregarurumon Sagittarius mode means that you can now slam down Blitz Greymon Ace in order to digivolve into metalgarurumon in order to pull the memory back by 3 to 5 memory. Remember, there are many cards in this deck that assist with drawing cards or even netting you a card by effect. Doing so means that you end of turn DNA digivolve into Omnimon Alter S, and then attack with it to break 2 security. Remember, you've drawn so many cards, and with inheritables like Wanyamon, Gabumon, and Garurumon, that's another 3 cards there on the attack. End of attack, assuming Omnimon survives, you bring out the Sagittarius mode and Blitz Greymon Ace to sequence into a potentially drawn second metalgarurumon, which means you gain more memory. And if you kept turn, now you're able to DNA into a second Omnimon Alter S again for another 2 checks. Deck profile-wise, this deck is, as its namesake says, all gas. There's relatively no defense I feel, and even playing it for the most part, it plays like a typical raised deck. Keep in mind the list from Asia was not used in this deck profile, but there are slightly adjusted ratios just to tailor my style of play. You might go back to some changes, and others you might also consider. For eggs, the ultimate egg for this is going to be Wanyamon. You run enough blue Tamers for this to work out in your favor in that, like I mentioned, you want to draw cards. For level 3s, it's strictly Gabumon named Digimon. One of which is the BT15 variant that start of main gives blocker to one of your Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn, but draws you in addition a card if you have Mat Ishida in play. Gabumon X for additional adds for Garurumon or Omnimon named Digimon, though this build does not run the X Anybody option card for obvious reasons. And of course, EX9 Gabumon. While you may be scratching your head on EX9 Gabumon, the importance of this card is simply jamming. There are simply some matchups in which you'll run into a Digimon with 16,000 DP, and Alter S can't clear that if you don't have the battle protection. One consideration I did have was BT5 Gabumon because it can potentially net you a +1 with a Garurumon and Omnimon named Digimon, but overall, I opted against this because now you're just running scrambles to assist on that. Level 4s, you strictly run blue Garurumons, mainly because as much as I want to run the purple starter deck Garurumon to filter, and if it's hit in security to play a Gabumon or Mat Ishida, this is wonky consistency that's awkward. To that end, BT15 Garurumon adds another draw if you have Mat in play, or plays Mat if you don't have one in play. Pretty sweet. The Garurumon X's are for battle protection, but the EX5 Garurumon X also helps facilitate a memory gain off Garurumon, and also cycles 2 cards for the hand. A neat way to fix the hand if you're looking for the 6s or Omnimon. Level 5s, it's purely weregarurumon Sagittarius mode, because there's nothing else that really helps in this scenario. I looked at EX1 weregarurumon as an option, but the downside here is that it cannot digivolve into Blitzgreymon Ace, which may be needed at times. The extra draw though in memory? Kind of funny. Level 6s, we've already covered, as we have the level 7s. But the option cards, we have a few things to talk about here. For consistency cards, you run 4 mental trainings. No ifs, ands, or buts. These are cheap play cost options that can guarantee you a card off the top 2, unless of course you hit the white option card. Wisteria Memory Boost helps find all of your Digimon except Tamers and options, but one thing you'll notice I omitted from my list is the blue Scramble. Late game I could see where this could help you since you might draw out your entire deck, and you could also use these with Gabumons from BT5 if you happen to run them. But using them alone means you -1 your hand size for metalgarurumon's effect. Instead, I opted for 2 Island of Adventures because besides playing out Tamers when they're hitting security, they also DP buff all your Digimon. The biggest secret here is that if you DNA Digivolve into Omnimon Alter S, and smack into security, once Alter S recovers to the top of security, you can use Island of Adventure to get it back and DNA again. As for Tamers, Mat Ishidas help recover more memory when you draw, and also act as searchers, while the Tai and Mat draw you a card or recycle a card from the trash back to hand. Did I also mention that you get a memory each with the Garurumon and Greymon Digimon in play? All in all, this was an interesting deck to playtest, and I'm sure there are still ways to make it better. Because in the current meta, some players are still in Leviamon, and of course Medieval Gallantmon creates its own set of problems for this deck. Even Floodgate counters like Gotsumon render this deck moot for the fact that there isn't any hard removal, where Garurumon Sagittarius mode simply stuns, and Blitzgreymon de-digivolves. And while true, Alter S can delete Digimon, it's only of the highest level, which means if your opponent has a level 6 Digimon and Gotsumon in play, until the level 6 Digimon is removed, you're kind of cooked in regards to Alter S spawning back out bodies. And with the restriction list dropping this week, I don't think this deck will necessarily get any hits because its appearance in the meta is too late to change up the rules. I could be wrong though, but Omnimon simply won't get touched in my eyes until the next one in 6 months. Generally, are you interested in playing Gas? What are some changes you'd make, and why? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you on more content this week. This DIGI-PANDA, logging out.